What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today I'm discussing Vitaly Golnikov / Goodvito confirms a move to the IFBB Pro League and NPC division. Regan Grimes' crazy 3-year transformation, gaining 43 pounds. Fouad Abiad, a physique update from him, and could he make a successful comeback to the pro stage? William Bonac wants the Mr Olympia title. Mr Olympia competitor updates, plus much more. So let's get straight into it. We're going to start with Quinton Eriya getting better by the physique update. He's looking crazy at the moment, 6 weeks out about Romanian pro, and I think he's going to make a massive impact this year. He's obviously got all the tools. He's got a tiny waist, huge flaring quads, and if he comes in condition with his added size on his physique, he's going to do extremely well. And another guy that's actually, I think, doing that show as well was Rafael Brandao. Released this little update here as well, looking like he's added some good quality size. And these two guys have insane physiques, the small waists and the aesthetics, and I love seeing this back in bodybuilding today. Let me know who you think would win out of these two, Quinton Eriya or Rafael Brandao. In our next story, we're discussing Regan Grimes' crazy 3-year transformation, gaining 43 pounds. Back in 2018, he competed in the classic physique division, 217 pounds, added a ton of weight, obviously 260 pounds, 10 days out of the 2021 Mr Olympia. He's looking fantastic, coached by Dorian Hamilton, and whatever he's doing this year, it seems like he's gained more muscle this year than any other year. And he only competed back in December at last year's Mr Olympia, where he was clearly outmatched, but he's made some huge gains, and I cannot wait to see how that converts to the stage in just 1 week's time from now. So we've got two physique updates from two of the contenders for the classic physique Mr Olympia, current Mr Olympia Chris Bumstead and also Robert Timms, probably one of his #1 contenders for that title this year. And many believe that Chris Bumstead actually can't be beaten. I'm sort of one of those guys that, if Chris Bumstead is close to his best, he probably can't be beaten at this classic physique Mr Olympia. I can't see anyone that can actually beat him. But if there's anyone that could be a shock factor and bring something different to Chris Bumstead, that's Robert Timms. He has a similar thing in terms of the height, but his conditioning is absolutely crazy, and he seems to maintain a huge amount of fullness as well. When guys tend to pull down to classic physique, sometimes they'll be shredded, but they don't have that same level of, hardness of a muscle actually pushing up against the skin. Robert Timms has that in spades, and he looks absolutely insane at the moment by these recent physique updates. Now, I posted a photo of Chris Bumstead the other day. I actually think that one was actually probably a little bit old. People pointed out in the comments that he actually had shaved his beard, a couple days prior to him releasing this photo. It could have just been from a few days ago, or it could have been from a few weeks ago, or sometime earlier in his prep. This is the most recent physique update, looking fantastic here. He's looking like he's in great condition. Now, these guys match up differently in a way, because upper body wise, I think they're going to be somewhat similar. Different types of physiques, but similar in a way, because Robert Timms has a ton of mass on that upper body. He has a crazy back, but will he be good enough in terms of the legs? I don't think so, because Chris Bumstead, waist down, wins this one. He's probably more balanced top to bottom. Robert Timms has some freak factor, no doubt. It'll be very interesting to see how they match up on stage next to each other. But let me know in the comments, do you think Robert Timms can actually take out Chris Bumstead? And if not, where do you think he places at that 2021 Classic Physique Olympia? Can he take out a Terrence Ruffin, who just won the Arnold Classic? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And next story is about Fouad Abiad, obviously a very successful YouTuber, former IFBB Pro Bodybuilder, still current actually IFBB Pro Bodybuilder. He hasn't officially retired. And he always talks about in his podcast that, he almost jokes around about making a comeback, and I think he likes to have that at least in his head to motivate him to stay in shape and stay big and all that sort of stuff. But he does want to pull his weight down a little bit, probably for health reasons as well, because he seems to maintain 280, 270 pounds pretty easily, which is crazy to say, but I think once you've had that certain amount of muscle for an extended period of time, it just sticks your physique a lot more. So he's dropped some weight recently, 8 pounds. He says he wants to drop another 25 pounds as well, and he's looking great at the moment. That would make him 241 pounds, which I don't think would be heavy enough for him to make a comeback. Fouad probably needs to be in the range of 250 to 260, I think, to actually make a successful comeback. But it'd be very interesting to see if he actually would do that and come in ultra shredded or something like that. I think that would hurt him a little bit though, because I think he needs to have that crazy amount of mass on his physique to actually come back to the bodybuilding stage. I don't think he actually will in reality, but they did joke about obviously Ian Valier doing it and Guy Sisternino on a recent episode as well. And I would love to see that and see a call out where they just call out those guys from a podcast. I think it'd be really cool. Let me know who you think would win. Would Fouad Abiad win? Would Guy Sisternino win? Obviously, I think we all think that Ian Valier would win after just getting second at the Arnold Classic, but I'd love to see that matchup just between Guy and Fouad more than anything. I think Fouad would win. I think he's got too much size, but it'd be an interesting example, and I think Guy thinks he actually could win this one. Definitely in his prime, Guy could beat the current Fouad, but the current Guy versus the current Fouad. It'd be interesting to see if Guy could actually beat him and win that battle. Next story is two guys that have actually been forgotten about leading up to this Mr. Olympia. Not totally forgotten about, but they're not being talked about as much because they weren't in that Arnold Classic lineup, because we sort of had to build up to the Arnolds, and everyone was talking about those names that were going in there, Keem Williams, Sergio, and all these other names, Ian Valliere, Nick Walker. They were sort of, I suppose, at the front of everyone's minds because that's sort of the next contest. And now that that contest is actually finished and sort of everything's settled and we're under a week out from a Mr. Olympia at this point, everyone's sort of starting to bring up James Hollingshead and these other guys as well. And James Hollingshead is looking insane. He's shredded, he's super dry, and he's looking pretty full at the moment as well. He's sort of improved a lot in the last, sort of 4 weeks. It seemed like when he went to Dubai, he actually got a lot better, where he had to do 2 weeks there before he actually flew to the US to be able to compete there. So very much looking forward to seeing how James Hollingshead does in his debut Mr. Olympia. And let me know what you think in the comments below. How will James Hollingshead do in that Mr. Olympia? Now, Hunter Labrada as well, looking very good ahead of his second Mr. Olympia. Let me know in the comments below. Will Hunter Labrada beat his last year's performance where he placed 8th, or will he be lower, or will he be higher? Let me know what you think in the comments below on that one. In our next story, William Bonac predicts a Mr. Olympia win. Now, he mentioned this in his latest post up on Instagram, or one of his most latest posts. He says, mentions William the Conqueror, which is Bonac's nickname as well, and says, for those who don't know, history is destined to repeat itself in terms of, if you know the story about William the Conqueror, and says hashtag 17 surrounded by crown emojis. And then he goes 7 days out from Mr. Olympia 2021, and then a little lock and key. So lock it in. So I don't know if he's locking in that he's actually going to win the Mr. Olympia in 2021 by putting hashtag 17, because that 17 refers to the 17th Mr. Olympia of all time. I think currently we have 16 Mr. Olympias, so that would make sense. But he wants to be the 17th Mr. Olympia. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Can William Bonac defy the odds and actually win the Mr. Olympia in 2021? Because he has a physique pretty much unlike many others on that scene, because when he poses, and if you actually see him in person, he has the roundest, bubbliest muscle that I've ever seen in my life, and it is super conditioned as well. It's like nothing I've ever seen. It's incredible. I saw him compete in Australia one year, and it was sort of his breakout contest against Sean Roden, and I was blown away. I thought that he could have beaten Sean Roden in that contest, and Sean was coming off, I think, like a third or a set. I think it was a 3rd place at Mr. Olympia, so pretty incredible. And let me know if you think he can actually make that achievement happen and win that Mr. Olympia title. And in our last story, we're discussing Goodvito. Vitaly Ugolnikov announces that he's moving to IFBB Pro League from the IFBB Elite, or at least the IFBB Pro League Federation. I assume he'd have to compete in the NPC, get his pro card, and then move to the IFBB Pro League. Now, this was under Ian Valliere's post of a top 4 from the Arnold Classic, and Vitaly said, wait guys, I'm coming soon. So that's exciting news. I think everyone thought it was going to happen eventually. I've heard rumors that, people have said, he is going to make a move eventually. And I think this is great news. So let me know how you think that Vitaly will do in the IFBB Pro League. Can he be a Mr. Olympia contender at some day? Will he be a top 10 guy? Will he be a guy that sort of misses his condition early on in his career and will take a while to get into it? That could be a factor because he's got all the size, he's got the shape. The only way he's sort of going to fail is on conditioning, in my opinion. So let me know what you think on that in the comments below. And I've got a few shout outs before I wrap up this video. King Mangalit, thank you so much for commenting on my videos first so many times and also sending me a heap of bodybuilding news stories. Stefan Avuka, I think I forgot your name right. I think I've got your name right in that. If I haven't, sorry dude, you're amazing. You send me so many bodybuilding stories and tag me and stuff. Also, a few pros that competed over the weekend as well for either reaching out, messaging me, or sharing my stuff on Instagram. That's Jamie the Giant Johal, Theo Laguerre, who got 3rd in that show, and Christian Wolski. Thank you guys so much for sharing all my stuff out there. And also shout out to Ivan Bodybuilding, who did classic bodybuilding just over the weekend, won his class, won the overall, a fellow YouTuber out there as well. So I wanted to give you a massive shout out. I mentioned him about a week ago and shared some photos of him about a week out. Came in absolutely shredded, did himself proud, and representing obviously on stage as well as on YouTube. So shout out to you, Ivan. So that's it for this video. If you guys like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. So for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.